How's it going, everybody? RazingHel here, and welcome back to our second scenario that we're playing for the Fall from Heaven 2 mod for Civilization 4. So as you might or might not have seen in the previous series, we finished the first scenario in this small campaign right here, the Fall of Quentine. And now we have moved on to the next. We have basically unlocked the next scenario called Into the Desert. It says follow Decius as he flees into the desert. So just to get you up to speed, if you haven't followed the plot line of the previous scenario, because they do have a storyline to them. What happened basically was Decius was pretty much minding his own business, fighting off the armies of evil, right? And as it turns out, well, let's see here. He and, Razir, the Fallen, decided to go ahead and use some bit of magic that allowed him to walk on the water. The Confessor didn't like that, and then later on, they found Decius in his room one night, grasping the octopus idol. And the octopus idol apparently is like a heretical... What would be the... It's the item of a heretic in Decius's land, so basically his father, the king, cast them out, and now we have moved on into the desert, so... Let's get started with that then. That was not the most eloquent of introductions, but I really hadn't prepared anything in advance as to what I hadn't planned anything as to what I was going to say in advance. So we're going to be playing it on the Prince difficulty once again. I know this might not be hardcore enough for some of you, but I think by and large it is a pretty decent starting place for somebody of my experience level, while at the same time, I haven't been playing the game for a couple of years, really. And in addition to that, there are a lot of subtle rule changes and sort of meta. The game's meta has changed slightly because of the mod, Fall from Heaven 2. It's not as similar to Civilization 4 Beyond the Sword as you might initially be led to believe. Okay. We have a little bit of lore here. That's a nice picture. Decius has fled the banner, seeking refuge across the sea. In the desert of Mur dwell the Malakim, a morally upright people. He has had his fill of moral presumption, however, and seeks shelter amongst a more ethically flexible culture. The Calibim are an ancient order whose aristocracy prey on the weak of their society. Weakness has long been drilled out of Decius. It is a blighted neighborhood on the outskirts of Prespur, over which Decius has exerted influence. Between the battered humans who have their wills broken and those petty thugs just strong enough to prey on them, he has no competition for the petty fiefdom he sets up, so long as the aristocrats do not deign to enter. Flarus, second born of all vampires, has seen this play out many times before. It is a replay of the Calibim social structure on a smaller scale, and he delights in letting the local lord know who is really on top. Decius knows he's playing a dangerous game. When the blood pets of the vampire lord come, his army is alert and dispatches them promptly. Flarus, however, is harder to handle. He personally slays Decius's army of exiles and criminals, leaving the bodies for the Moray. Decius himself is far too interesting to do in, however. We have few immigrants here, and fewer still with your skills. Why do you come to our land, only to wallow in the filth of the livestock? Decius folds his arms. I kept every code and rule of my home, only to have them turn me out. I am through with rules and submission to authority. I will rise to the top or die on my feet. Flarus smiled. Whether you know it or not, you have come to the right place then. Our nation is a meritocracy in ways the Banar would never hope to emulate. Those undeserving are consumed, while those who prove themselves are rewarded beyond their kin. I offer you a chance to start down this path. I will give you command of a small force. Eliminate the hill giants that have been preying on our countryside. Decius nodded. Very well, but with the rabble you call soldiers, I don't give good odds of my survival. Either way, it will be entertaining. So that's our introduction. Our first quest in this scenario is to raise the barbarian city of Dirage. So, how are we looking here? I'm going to at least turn the resources on. I might leave the yields on for a bit. I don't know. Let's turn it off for now. I can turn it on later if I need it. So we start off with a hunter here. Pretty nice. Let's get started scouting out the area. There's a dungeon or a graveyard here. Now I'm pretty sure if I don't get rid of this, skeletons come out of it. So we're going to go ahead and enter that right away. We've got a horseman. I've mentioned in the previous episode that these units really don't make sense to me. They're just weak in a very odd way. Then we also have a couple of the Moroi. I'm just calling them Moray. They have the commando promotion once again, and pretty much standard. They're not all that special, but they can cast Burning Blood. So this is their real only special ability. And what it does is it adds the Burning Blood promotion to the caster. So I'm pretty sure if we take a look at promotions here, Burning Blood would be BAB. Maybe we won't find it because as I've said before, there are like 3 different abilities here. Like there are, look, here's the deal. We have promotions and we have spells and abilities. So it would probably be here. So burning, I'm just looking for burning and I don't see it. So the Civilopedia, is it the Civilopedia? Yeah, it's not as useful as it usually is as a reference for me, because one of the really nice things is even if you don't change the individual entries, like when you're doing modding, the great thing about the Civilopedia is changes in XML files will automatically be reflected into it. So because I did a little bit of modding for the game. So, for example, like if we look at the adept here, and if I changed the adept's strength or movement or cost in the XML file, it would be reflected in the Civilopedia, in addition to being reflected, of course, in the city's build menus and the research tree as well. And I think that makes the Civilopedia particularly useful because it really never goes out of date. Like the cold hard stats of units will always be correct because they are directly tied to the XML files that the game is basing them off of. So what do we have here? Apparently that's just my keep, my castle, my capital on that hill. At first I thought it was like a dungeon or something, but it's not. And we also have Decius once again. So my leader, I can attach him to a unit. This Morai has quite a few different promotions. It has magical promotions. So now we're finally going to be able to look at some of the different magical abilities. One of the abilities here is Feast. This one can only be used by the Calibim civilization. It reduces the population and grants experience to the vampire. So right here is our vampire. This is actually the unit that, oh no, that's a blood pet. That's very interesting because I wouldn't think the more I could use the vampire skill. This one might be specially promoted for this scenario. I'm not sure. Usually you can only use vampires to feast off cities. I've played the Calibim a couple of times before, and that was always the situation. So what should we build first? We have our supplies here. Calibim Palace. We're playing sort of an evil faction, so we might want to get started with a training yard right away. I'm not sure what kind of units can we access. Just the blood pet and okay. So yeah, we can build a Morai, which basically replaces the Axeman. If you remember in our previous playthrough, the Axeman was actually a fairly good unit. We used it for quite some time, so I think it certainly makes sense to go ahead and build a training yard in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and lead this Morai with my commander, Decius. So that will increase his strength by 1. And then I think we'll just... wait, there's a blood pet here, right? Sacrifice a blood pet to heal the vampire and allow it to attack again. Yes, so this unit, quite extraordinarily, has been promoted for, it says vampirism. That's the only reason that it has these abilities. So this is a quite special unit, and it's quite special as the more I go, because it's going to take me quite a while to actually research the technology I need to actually build my own vampires. At least be a couple of... I'm just looking here. It's like ironworking, apparently not. I'm looking for where the vampires are, because you can research them. Feral Bond, maybe. I probably should just look in the Civilopedia to see what a vampire requires. But I don't want to lose this unit, because that's a special promotion that I was set up with for the scenario, rather than a promotion you could be expected to gain if you build one yourself. So there we go. I think we're done with our first turn. Let's see where this takes us. There's some bears over there. There's bears in them woods. So let's rob our graveyard here, see what's up. Skeletons rise from the ground. So let's see here. Am I held? Can I? No, I can retreat. But we did. I can't speak, apparently. We do have a skeleton here of 3 strength. What are the odds? 96.3. That's pretty decent. So let's go ahead and dispatch him, hopefully, with my Morai here. So once again, the Morai replaces the Axeman. So that sort of gives you a reference point as to what unit they're the equivalent of. I think that's noteworthy, basically. Oh, we got some lions here. Hopefully I'll be able to... Yeah, it's a hunter, so I should have no problem dispatching those lions. Okay, continue building a winery on that tile, and then we're going to head off towards this goody hut over here. Obviously, I don't have the best units for that, which would be the hunter, but we're going to try our luck nonetheless before something else claims it. So let's take a look at the big picture here with technology. I know in the last episode we were actually partnered with another ally in terms of technological progression. So that's going to change here. I think we're pretty much bankrolling the entirety of our research. So we'll have to pay closer attention to that this time. So researching the calendar, I think, is always a pretty strong bet, especially since I'm not sure. Are we on the coast? I don't think we're on the coast. Masonry is another good one. It unlocks text going into construction, which will be enables bridge building. We can build a catapult. We're not at war yet, so that might not be that important. We might want to focus a little bit more on economy at the moment. So festivals could be pretty strong with building a market. It's a potential right there. Otherwise, like going all the way to smelting, that'll take 167 turns. So I think we're just going to go ahead and research calendar first. I think there's much more potential for us to go that way, as at the moment we're not really involved in that much war overall. Now, this city is on the coast, so maybe I'll do fishing after this. Maybe I'll do fishing first. That's an interesting question. Oh, there's the Pact of Nilhorn. So what do we really need here? I'm not going to be able to... I mean, I probably should build another building that allows me to make like an archery range. Let's do an archery range there. We did finish that... what is the thing called? It's a training yard. Now we can start building the Morai here in my capital. 15 turns seems a little bit excessive, I have to say. I've also noticed, like right over here, we have a barrow in the desert, so we're going to want to take care of that before it starts spawning skeletons. I'm pretty sure the barrows also spawn skeletons. While defending, your hunter killed a barbarian lion, and we didn't get much experience from that, but at the same time, I was not damaged too badly, so 2 turns, and we'll heal that. And my Morai over here has gained a promotion. Too bad it wasn't my special Morai. But then again, I can use, since someone has the vampirism promotion, I can always feed off of my city to give it some promotions early on. And that is a tempting option. Maybe when we have our 3rd city, I might consider doing that. So I think we're just going to go with Combat 2, Strength promotion. And once again, I've said it before, I think the Combat 2, the combat promotions in Civilization are just, in general, too good. They're just, they need to be nerfed a bit. But that's just my opinion. So let's go ahead and grab this goodie village. 86 gold. Not too shabby. We're up to 88 gold now. We're actually making +1 per turn, even with 2 cities and our research at 100%. So that's pretty impressive. I might want to take a look at where that gold is coming from. We might want to change our government here. At the moment we have despotism, which means that we have less war weariness, but since we're not fighting anyone at the moment, because our task is to raise the barbarian city, we might want to switch to something more useful. God King is always a tempting one. It's basically the replacement for the original bureaucracy civic in Civilization 4 Beyond the Sword, and it's pretty strong, providing you have a productive capital as well as few cities in your empire, because obviously with the high up cost to run this civic, that means that the more cities you have, or the more cities that are distantly located from your palace, the greater the maintenance you're going to have to be paying to upkeep those. In addition to that, like, we have nationhood selected at the moment, +1 from training yard, +1 happiness from training yard. I think that is probably the best option here. We don't have a religion in any of our cities at the moment, so we're going to keep that. Switch to God King. Tribalism, I don't see any reason to keep that around, and I'm pretty sure, like, slavery could be a civic that we might want to use here, because, as I've pointed out before, the time to produce that morai in my capital is a little bit excessive, I think. But at the same time, if I want to save up that population for a vampire feasting, it would basically introduce the same sort of unhappiness that using slavery does. So I think we're going to go for apprenticeship right now, because it gives our new units +2 additional experience points. And the great thing about this, as I've mentioned, is promotions are really supercharged in Fall from Heaven. So they mean more than before. And our hunter was destroyed by a barbarian hill giant. Ooh. We might want to keep an eye out for that. Yeah, so right over here, we used to have our hunter there healing. We thought everything was fine and dandy, but it obviously is not. So, how am I going to deal with that? Luckily, we have some copper here, so I think we sort of have an idea for where we would want to put our next city. Yeah, but we definitely want to be focusing, at least at the moment, on building more military units rather than building another settler. Okay, we have an event here. An obese pale man carried on a litter by slaves. That doesn't make any sense. Watches Decius training his units for the assault on Diraj. That's the barbarian city we're supposed to be taking. I still haven't found it, I don't think. Nope. Decius walks over after organizing a scout patrol. I don't suppose you've come to enlist, he says. The man has clear signs of Calibim aristocracy, but Decius takes a measure of satisfaction from refusing to acknowledge it. I am the governor of the city. Flowers decrees that I must cooperate with you. Find out what you need to research for your task. It pleases him to give this authority to such as yourself for reasons I couldn't grasp. Decius thought for a moment. If I am successful, I will have the cusp of an empire. Feudalism would be useful for this, though. He glanced up at the governor, realizing he wanted more than to build an empire for lazy fools like these. Deception, poison. Tools like these could help him in a conflict with his benefactor Florus, or other foes to come. Religion was a useful tool for controlling a nation, but he decided it would be a poor idea to invite such foreign influence and invite the eye of meddling goods. Meddling goods? I'm not sure if they mean gods or goods. Like, one extra O and it would change the meaning of that. And I think it would make more sense if it would invite the eye of meddling gods, because there are like various different religious gods, I think, in this game. So that's an interesting event. I'm not exactly sure how we benefited from it, other than hinting that we have various options at our disposal to deal, like different paths that we can go down in terms of what our approach to warfare and diplomacy are. Okay, we destroyed a lion den right there. Didn't even think about it, obviously, before it happened. Still want to take out that barrow over there. It's too bad my scout got killed. Yeah, so we also need to find that barbarian city. Anyway, there's a barbarian gorilla that showed up. I'm just going to take a peek here to see if that giant's running around. And at the moment, it's not. So, we can see there's another civilization here that I haven't met. I don't think. Maybe I have met them. This might be him. I think this is him, and he's furious towards me. So, we'll probably be fighting him sometime in the future. Oh, the borders of my capital have expanded. Wonderful. I think what we're going to be doing here is sending these guys over here to take care of the barrow. It's 4 turns versus 7 turns. So yeah, we're going to be sending our promoted moray over there. And then these guys... Oh, okay, I think we actually found the orange civilization's borders right there. So, we met Kael of the Malachim. What does he have available? He has open borders. World map. What do you want for this? Okay. More than I have, apparently. Let's sign open borders with him. No real reason not to. I'm not trying to withhold any information that's contained within my borders. So, we've finished our winery here. And we also have gold available. So... like, that's a good question. Like, do we go for the gold next to improve, or should I go ahead and build a camp over here? Building the camp, the great thing about that, of course, would be that our city would grow faster because of the additional food production on that. So I'm tempted to go ahead and build a camp first. So here we have our friend, the Malachim. Malachim or Kim? Malachim, with an M. And there are some barbarian goblins. Yeah, so he has a swordsman and an archer defending his city. I'm not sure if we wanted to try to take it or not. I'm not sure that would benefit us, considering like he's one of the people that doesn't really mind us in this game. So like we already have our competition with Flarus, who's the other Calibim, and then we also have the good people, Varn Gossam. Once again, he's of the Malachim as well, apparently. We have 2 people here of the Malachim. So that does make me wonder if they're both of the same sort of civilization. Will they go ahead and declare war together? I don't think they're allied. Let's take a look here. No, they're not allied. Okay. It's not an immediate threat then. So I can also cast spells because I have this vampirism trait. I can also cast spells like summon a skeleton. So I'm pretty sure you have to have death mana to summon skeletons. How much death mana do we have? Well, I'm not finding it immediately at the moment. Is this it? It's law mana. Shadow. Maybe you just need shadow mana then. Or body mana? So we could go ahead and cast that. That would be interesting. There. Now we have a skeleton to keep us company. What are the odds against this barbarian goblin? Pretty decent. So let's get ourselves some experience then. There we go. And we have completed our road from our winery to our capital. The great thing about going for the gold is it would only take 1 turn to get there. So I could get building the mine almost immediately. So let's go ahead and do that. Prosper at the moment is prospering. 4 more turns till additional growth, so I really don't think we need the food as much as I thought initially. So, we have our first promotion for our Morai, and since it has the vampirism promotion already, I'm poisoned though. It says removed when the unit is fully healed. Okay, that's not going to be a problem then. But we can promote it for some special stuff since I'm a vampire. And one of them is Death 2. So this allows me to summon specters. And I'm tempted to do that. So all these spells can be quite useful in relative to other promotions like Combat 1. The kind of promotions that I would usually give these. So I'm going to go ahead and promote for Death 2. And as you can see now here, we can summon a specter. So right there is the specter. Has 2 movement, points and a total of 3 strength. You can tell that it isn't entirely cut out properly. You can actually see a border there around it. It's rather interesting. But apparently, but it dies in 1 turn. So unlike the skeleton, we don't get to bring it with us, which is a bit of a disappointment, but we can always cast it if we need it to attack something for us. So that's pretty cool. So instead of just having my unit attack things point blank, I can actually go ahead and then cast the Spectre down, hit it once with the Spectre. Hopefully it causes some damage. It is 3 strength. That's pretty decent. And then after that, I can follow up with actually attacking with my Morai themselves. Now, the one thing I'm interested to know is what the Spectre can acquire to gain more strength, because it is one of these things. It has +1 affinity for death mana, so I'm pretty sure what this means is that as you acquire death mana, its strength goes up. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's the way it works. So yeah, strength of 3 at the moment, but if we get more death mana, and we do have a couple of mana nodes around here, these mana nodes, they can be converted into anything that you want or need, but you have to be careful because I think it can only be done once. But so we can definitely get some more death mana. Like if we converted both of these nodes to death mana, that would actually give us specters that have a strength of 5, which could really do some serious damage considering I can summon them every turn. So that sounds pretty compelling to me. Let's head over. I'm still looking for that barbarian city. And here we are on top of the Barrow. Given the fact that the bears are right next to me, I think we might want to attack them, try attacking them. 72% odds, they're not exactly hot, are they? Well, let's see if we can get the horsemen over there. Horsemen, 33.0% odds, even worse. Ouch. But of course they have withdrawal odds. Maybe I should just kill this horseman off now, because the problem is he's only going to be costing me maintenance, and then it's such a worthless unit. I just don't see it being useful. And then we took care of the bear. Those bears are ridiculously strong, at least for my fledgling civilization at the moment. But hopefully we can get some cool promotions and stuff for my vampire here. Even though this unit's getting more promotions at the moment because it's doing more fighting. But then hopefully we can... I'm thinking death mana might be the way to go. I'm not sure if the skeletons have affinity for any kind of mana. Keep trying to click the Civilopedia. So skeletons, let's take a look at those units once. S. Where is S? Not seeing it. Here we go. Skeleton. +1 death combat. I'm not sure that's affinity. I don't think that means anything. It just means they have a natural strength of 2 with an additional +1 combat if they're fighting something that's weak to death combat. It also starts with undead though, so we don't get any affinity for doing that. But you know what I should be doing? I should be paying attention to what we can do, like what technologies we should be going after if we actually want to go ahead and get our vampires, because that's one of my civilization's main strengths here. So here we have the vampire. It replaces a champion. It requires feudalism. Okay, so you might not have remembered this, but they referenced feudalism being useful. Remember when the governor of the city approached on his litter carried by slaves? He mentioned Decius mentioned something about how feudalism could come in handy for controlling or grasping, gaining more power. So right here we have feudalism. 113 turns at the moment, and that's the nearest we are to getting more vampires. But it's not that far away, really. It's Code of Laws, and then we can go to feudalism, providing we have knowledge of trade first. So where is trade? Okay, trade right here requires knowledge of writing. Do we have writing? There are a lot of prerequisites going on at the moment, so I'm just browsing these. I'm just trying to look, where's writing? Usually it's an early tech, right? Writing is relatively early on. Yeah, we have access to writing. It unlocked the library. So as soon as we finish, we can jump to trade right now. We could, because we have horseback riding. We don't have to go ahead and research fishing and sailing. Yeah, so we might do that next. Right? Might go for trade next. Then again, it could be a good idea to go ahead and get access to quarries and stuff. Is there any stone around here? It's one of the things you have to think about, how to take advantage of the resources you have at hand. I don't see any stone or marble, so it's like, at the moment, the ability to build a quarry is not very high on my list, So let's finish healing there. As long as my unit is on top of the barrow, it will not spawn units. So that's the reason I'm not too concerned about that. We have built our first Morai here. And as I mentioned before, of course, it will not be receiving the vampire promotion. So that was just a one-off thing that our Morai over here has. But additional ones that I build will not have that promotion. So we just have a bare bones, a plain basic Morai with 1 promotion, which of course is going to be the Combat 1 promotion. Yes, indeed. So we've finished building our gold mine. That should skyrocket our research a bit here because of all the additional gold we're getting. Having gold next to your starting city is almost a requirement if you're going to be playing and winning on deity. So it's really quite beneficial that we're actually given the gold right next to our capital. That's a very huge boost, regardless of the difficulty level that you play on. Let's build 1 more Morai, and then maybe we're going to go for a settler after that, hopefully to grab some of that iron. I'm not sure I need the iron necessarily, because the Chalid have a vampire which replaces a champion, but does it use... Yes, it can. It can use bronze weapons, so that is an important resource to acquire, the copper. So that would be where I want to build my my next city, my 3rd city. So, in addition to this, what do we need to find iron? Smelting. Smelting would reveal iron, but I think we're going to go for feudalism before that. So what we're going to do, hopefully after this next Morai gets completed in my capital, we're going to go ahead and we're going to build a settler. And then we're going to be building a city either on top of or somewhere next to this copper here. We're going to gain access to it, basically. I think right here, that would be a kind of good place. It's not next to water, though. But there is a lot of fertile land there. Then again, here, if I build a city right here, we have fresh water, fertile land, 2 resources available to us immediately that will help boost growth. The pasture, it's a little bit production, a little bit growth, and then the winery is a little bit growth, a little bit commerce. And then once our borders expand, we would have access to the copper. If I was being greedy, I would do that. The one downside, of course, is that how long will it take our borders to expand, right? Something you have to keep in mind when thinking about how greedy you really want to be. All right, there was some marble. If we built a city down there, then we could use that quarry technology. So we gained access to agrarianism. It's the only civic we have besides decentralization, and it will give us +1 additional food from farms. So that's pretty strong, because here's the thing: you build farms on grassland, and grassland doesn't have any hammers on it anyway. And building farms on plains which do have hammers is generally a bad investment. So we're going to go ahead and adopt that civic. I think it is worth the 1 turn of revolution. It's going to make our cities a lot more... it's going to make our cities grow significantly faster if we invest in farms, and that can be beneficial if we're playing as the Chalid. Remember, because we are going after the vampires, which can feast on the populations of cities. They gain a ton of experience. So I think that's really where that's going to be coming in handy. But now trade. I thought trade was what we wanted to do next. The thing is, bridge building is kind of cool too. If we want to go for the vampires as soon as possible, and I think we should, I think trade should be next, because then we do trade, and after that we can go code of laws, and then immediately go for feudalism. I think trade would benefit us more in the short run than code of laws would, because what do we have here? We have the governor's manor, replaces the courthouse. Not a lot of maintenance reduction overall, but it does provide +1 hammer per unhappy population, which could encourage us to actually Oh, it's also required to train vampires. Okay. So in that case, we might actually want to build Code of Laws first. We can go ahead and pre-build the Governor's Manor in anticipation of researching feudalism down the road. But then again, feudalism is going to take quite a few turns. I'm not sure. What is available? If I research trade, we have an inn. I'm probably not going to build that. We get +1 trade routes per city. That could be valuable. And we can also trade technology, and it enables foreign trade. So this is a civic. It'll add an additional trade route per city. That's pretty strong. Okay, let's stick with trade. And I'm going to take a look at the civics here. So it would unlock foreign trade. I would have to give up agrarianism to get it. Like, how many trade routes are in my existing city? So if we go in the city here, upper left side of the screen, you can see how many trade routes. At the moment, I don't have any because my cities are not connected, apparently. Really? Yeah, I need sailing. I think I need the technology of sailing to connect it along rivers. Or fishing. Okay, let's research fishing first, because that will mean I don't actually have to go ahead and build a road between my cities here to enable the trade route short term. We'll see. It's going to take 7 turns for fishing. It's a little bit longer than I was hoping, especially with the gold. Stop clicking that button. I wanted to click this button. It would take 20 turns for trade. That's not that much more, is it? And it enables +1 trade routes per city, of course, which I wouldn't be able to use because my cities are not connected to anything anyway. So here, the good thing about this is if I go ahead and get fishing, I can trade along rivers, which means all of a sudden I'm connected to Kael right here of the Malachim, and maybe we can trade some stuff with him. We shall see. But that's the reason I think, even if you make the case that I could go ahead and build a road between my 2 cities here and then my 3rd city, which is a good idea. Just being able to trade along rivers can connect me to other civilizations much easier than actually having to build roads over to their respective cities. So I think that makes a fairly strong case for the direction that I'm taking this in. So let's go ahead and build a road on that tile. We're going to be working our way over to improving the deer. Obviously, this city is not generating any culture. That's a problem. Maybe instead of building the archery range, we should have been focusing on building... We have an additional moray in here. Instead of building the archery range, maybe we should have been focusing on a cultural building first. I don't think we have anything. Okay, a monument. Yeah, a monument's pretty cool. 12 turns, that's reasonable. We might have to do that. So, we've explored this area. There is a shipwreck over here we can explore once we get a galley or something. And I think we're just going to start turning back. Yeah. Those moray will come in useful when taking this city. I hope. I'm still looking for the barbarian city, obviously. I think this might... No. I thought I saw some borders over there, but it's not. Okay, so we have on this tile a dungeon or a lair that we can explore. So I'm going to go ahead and cast that. Well, maybe I should wait 1 more turn. If I wait 1 more turn, this unit will be active again. In case it's a whole bunch of units that I have to take care of, right? Okay. We'll wait 1 more turn. It's not going to be a loss in any way, so I don't feel bad about doing that. I don't think I'm going to lose out on anything. So the question is, down here, up here, which way should we build the road? I think down here is a stronger proposition. It's more likely we're going to be walking down here. But then if we build the road up here, I can build a mine up there, and that tile would be more productive because it's a plains hill. Oh, we have a goblin on our borders. Oh my. What am I going to do about that? First, I'm going to cast the Explore Lair spell. I'm going to be using the unit with fewest promotions because quite often what can happen is your unit becomes cursed and you can lose control of it. It gains a promotion that makes it less useful, so I'm going to use my worst unit here. You find a prisoner trapped within the lair, a disciple of Leaves who agrees to join you if you release him. Really? So we might have access to a religion here. This might take an interesting turn. Fellowship of Leaves has not been founded, so if I have this guy, and I take him into one of my cities, do I found Fellowship of Leaves? I'm not sure if I've ever done this before. It's a very interesting event there. Once again, I'm not sure if I've ever seen that event before. But we need to get these other units moving back to the cities to intercept the goblins. I don't want them causing trouble unnecessarily. Here we do have some barbarian borders. I think that might be the city. I don't want my units here to get killed. We might end up just sending that, where's our favorite Spectre? Here we go. Let's send our Spectre in and scout that a bit. Yeah, so that's another useful use for these Spectres, is you can send them ahead of you into territory you suspect might be dangerous. And if they get killed, who cares? Because they're going to, obviously the enemy would gain experience from that, but it's a lot less of a loss to me. Okay, the goblins are retreating a bit. So I think we're going to go ahead and see if we can found Fellowship of Leaves in Presper. We'll see about that. That might actually give us a religion. I think we're largely a civilization that's apathetic towards religion, but it would be interesting to have one simply for the cultural benefits of it. In that case, maybe I should actually put the religion in Nubia, because the benefit here is that I won't have to build a monument in there, and that I can actually focus on building more military units, right? So I think that is actually a better idea. So we're not going to be founding it immediately. We're going to wait. Let's see if we can. Maybe I should build one more Morai before I actually go ahead and build a settler. Let's see what the happiness is like. Yeah, our city can grow a little bit more yet. Obviously, we do need another worker. That's going to be 5 turns. So do we build a Morai or do we build a worker? I'm kind of leaning towards the worker, but the thing is, if I want to build a settler after this, I probably should build the Morai. Otherwise, I feel my city is going to be too undefended. And another thing is, if I build the worker, my city won't grow. So yeah, we're going to be building one more Morai first. Let's scout the city. What's in here? We have a hill giant in there, and a warrior. What are the odds against the hill giant? 10%. Yeah, we're not doing that. So here's the thing. I can. Let's see here, 25% with that promoted Morai. I might want to wait until I get copper weapons. Copper weapons would boost my strength up by an additional 1, and then maybe I can take one of my Morai and go ahead, buff them up a little bit by feasting on one of my city's populations. It's a plan. I think it's a plan. So let's do that. And get that Fellowship of Leaves acolyte over here. So we've found the city that we need to remove. So we're making progress. It took 40 minutes or so to do it, but we are making progress. Another problem with leaving that giant alone for too long is he'll continue to gain promotions, I believe, from killing stragglers, be it like fellow civilizations units or my own hunters. Okay. At last, we can build our camp, plus 2 additional food. And I'm going to move the Morai onto that forest adjacent, or kitty corner, to the goblins there so that they can't seek refuge in that forest. Here's the interesting thing. Missionaries in Fall from Heaven 2 are actually fairly strong. This Disciple of Leaves is 3 strength, so there isn't the same sort of impetus to go ahead and defend them when they're on the move as you would in the original, in like Beyond the Sword for Civilization 4. Beyond the Sword, for those who are not familiar, is the it's the second expansion to the game. Generally considered, I think, the best version of the game to play. So there's an additional warrior in that city now. Yeah, so, it might not be the most efficient thing, exploring with our unit that we need to give experience. So I think I might want to just circle back around and then get a hunter or something, or even a scout, and use them for trying to bust up some of this fog of war instead of sending my valuable units out there. Of course, they have the ability to go ahead and cast that spell that allows me to summon a Spectre, but at the same time, it's a very slow unit. They can only move 1 tile per turn. by default. So I don't think it's the best. Okay. Do we go for trade or do we go for Code of Laws? Let's do Code of Laws. Code of Laws it can get done in 10 turns. And then Feudalism is 50 turns. It's a little bit much. It's a little bit much. And we need another worker. We really do. Not enough progress is being made without the worker. Like, economic growth isn't happening. 99.3. Let's get rid of that goblin. And here's the thing. Let's take a look. It says trade routes are available. Yeah. So we have a couple of trade routes going on now. They're quite profitable, really. Timberling is a city that, the guy I signed open borders with right here. So I'm connecting to his city for some gold. This city here in Presper is not doing quite as well. Interestingly enough, my city in the... Oh no. Oh well. I'll just have to do 2 files. Accidentally clicked into my other screen. And I think it reset the recording entirely. It broke it off into another one. So that's the kind of thing you have to watch out for. Just keep that in mind when you're doing these kind of recordings. So the problem is, like, where am I now? Like, I think I was about 45 minutes in. So we'll probably be going another 20 minutes. Those are the bothersome things. Technical issues. Okay, let's spread Fellowship of Leaves here. See what happens. Fellowship of Leaves is spread into your lands. We don't need the happiness at the moment, and we'll get the culture bonus regardless. So unless I see a tangible benefit to having it, like if I actually need the happiness, otherwise we're not going to adopt it as a religion. I'm pretty sure what will happen is whoever actually founds Fellowship of Leaves later, researches the technology for it and everything, they'll actually remove the holy city from mine and move it over to their city. So this isn't a huge benefit to me. It's just giving me some culture at the moment. So that's going to be the extent, I think, largely of the benefit of having this religion in my cities. But I could be wrong. It could be more along the lines of, well, it's just a benefit from having a religion that this civilization is not usually set up to acquire until much later in the game. So we'll see how that goes. What is this guy supposed to be doing? I guess he goes in the city. Okay. 3 Morai in there now. Wasn't my Morai here attacked? Barbarian state has been spotted. Some inspector. How did this guy get experience? I must not be paying attention, because I don't recall anything that could have gotten him experience. There is a lizardman. There is a lion. Both of those are relatively dangerous to me. So, the lion can move only 1 space. The lizardman can move 2. So he could outrun us. Let's try to deal with the lizardman. Okay, constructed the Morai. Let's go ahead. Can we build a settler? We might not be able to build one. This is an unforeseen complication here. Yeah. We can only build a worker. I'm pretty sure. Why are we limited to not being able to build settlers? S. Settler. Where are we? There we are. Can only defend. Cannot pillage. There are no requirements. So apparently I have to destroy the barbarian city. Maybe I'm just not allowed to build additional cities in this game. That would kind of suck. Because there are a lot of good resources over here. I might have to take Timberling. I might have to take that city. I need copper. Which would suck for trade, but you have to do what you have to do, 4.5% odds against the lizardmen. Those aren't hot odds, to be honest. Let's try these lions instead. Hey, we destroyed a lion. I like that. Oh dear. We have 2 goblins approaching us as well. Things are looking a bit hairy, I must say. What are the odds of us killing this lizardman? 70%. So what I'm going to do, get my Spectre in here, throw that. It did some damage, as I was hoping it would. And now let's take a look at our odds. 92.6. Let's also throw the skeleton into the fray. 44%. It did it. It did it. I didn't want it to. I wanted it to die. I wanted you to die, skeleton. Die again. No, but we actually managed to kill it with a skeleton. It's not bad. It could have been better. I was hoping to get some experience off of a very wounded and easy to kill lizardman without risking my only vampire. But that's not happening. So we shall press on without it then. So the good question here is, what exactly does he have in Timberling now? If I want to take that city, this might alter our course of research, and we might actually go down the route of masonry, so that way we can get a catapult with construction. How many more turns until we finish Code of Laws? 7. 7 more turns. Let's first take a look at the city. If it's not even possible to capture it, then we won't. Oh, our skeleton got a promotion. 2 promotions, as a matter of fact. And that's good because the skeleton will stick around. I can also cast haste now. I might have been able to before as well. Removes the slow promotion. Adds the hastened promotion to all units in the caster's stack, but it only affects living targets. So the skeleton would continually be left behind in that scenario. Everybody, let's get on the move here. I'm going to try to intercept these goblins before they manage to reinforce that city there. And let's see if we can do something with a Spectre. 75% odds. It gets rid of 1 goblin. So yeah, that Spectre is coming in quite useful. 90% odds with the Morai. Should we? Oh no, it died. We should not have. Oh, that is a blow. I will admit. I mean, those the blows, you know. Them's the breaks, I guess, is the word that I'm looking for. But I mean, that's the reason I'm so cautious when it comes to attacking stuff. Fortunately, of course, my leader himself is not destroyed, but you know. Here's the thing. It was 90%. There was a 10% chance of me losing. I consider that pretty good. Like anything below 90, I probably won't attack with a valuable unit. But, you know, it just continues to eat away at me. Like, I get valuable units killed. It's like they have something in the cards for these things. Oh, so I guess that changes my mind, and I guess we're going straight for feudalism. I need vampires. It's pretty much as simple as that. So after Code of Laws, then we do trade, and then we do feudalism. 52 turns. It's kind of a lot, but we'll see about that then. Yeah. So that was kind of sucky. That was certainly undesired. I should have been more cautious. So I guess we're just going to be building more Morai. Still haven't finished that stupid archery range. Of course, that's to be expected. I haven't improved any of the tiles surrounding Nubia. Nubia? I suppose it's Nubia. It's Nubia for noobs. Yeah, what does he have in the city? He's an archer and a swordsman. So one of the big dangers here is he actually has copper available to him. So we want to take the city before he gets access to the copper, if we're going to take the city from him. That's, you know, that's still up for debate, basically. So if we want to build a farm, it should probably go here on the floodplains. As I've mentioned before, the civics that we're currently running favors that approach. So at the moment, we have our skeleton over here and our blood pet. Neither of them are very useful. So let's try to bring them home. They'll be more useful home than anywhere else. So we're going to keep a watch out there. And hopefully we can attach one of these Morai to Decius. I would prefer it to be the Morai that's already well promoted, so we're going to move Decius down to my second city, and then grab the rest of these Morai and advance in that city as well. What I'm going to be doing here, we're going to be trying to take the barbarian city, raise it of Viduraj. There's Code of Laws. And how we're going to do it is simply through force of numbers. Yes. So here, lead this unit. Can now implement aristocracy. Nope. That is not very useful for me at the moment, I don't think. And then we wanted to start research on trade. So 13 turns for that. And we have about five Morai on the run that we can use. So let's get these into position here. Grab all of you guys. Let's get the blood pet and the skeleton into position as well. They'll all come in handy. And we're going to try an all-out assault, basically. Let's grab all the Morais we can muster. 9 turns. It's a significant trip. It's going to take us a while to get all the way over there. And, of course, right there are the lizard men come to harass and destroy my economy. Fortunately, we just produced another Morai, so I was able to get him over there in time. The question is, will he be destroyed? It's possible. The lizard men is the same strength, but, you know, we can't afford to dilly-dally anymore. We need to take out that barbarian city. So here on this hill, I'm actually going to be building a lumber mill. It has the same results as a mine, but overall having the forests around the city is beneficial because it provides more health. So that choice comes down to between lumber mill and mine. You probably should choose a lumber mill. Let's build another Morai. And the lizard men keep coming. Oh, what am I going to do? What shall I do about the lizard men? It's like no matter which way it goes, they can go onto a valuable tile or a tile that's valuable to me. So I'm going to defend the gold. I think that at the moment the gold is certainly kicking off more profit, kicking off more research than anything else. And we finally completed that wretched archery guild. Probably should have built a workboat here. 10 turns. The thing, 5 turns now. That's better, I guess. What are the odds of him taking this city? Probably pretty low. I will rage quit if that single lizard man takes the city. 5.4% odds. Wonderful. How am I going to get rid of this guy? Of course, he is standing on a hill in a forest, so that helps him a lot. The lizard man. But still, I think he's going to be a bit tricky to get rid of. I really do. Runes of Kilmorph have been discovered and are founded in a faraway land. So Runes of Kilmorph is like the dwarven religion. We completed another Morai. Let's build another one. Let's see. The lizard men are just being a nuisance, but nothing more. It's interesting. Let's go ahead and move this Morai up on top of that hill. See if it prompts some change in the lizard men's actions. Yeah, now he moved over here. Let's go and defend the wine. Oh, wow. That was bad, actually. I didn't expect an entire army to come marching out after me. So, the big question is, can one archer hold out against 4 warriors? I guess we're about to find out. Otherwise, I'm going to lose multiple cities in this whole, mess. A workboat. Yeah, I probably should have built that archer. Huh? Let's see here. We can boost production a little bit here. Like that. Still 8 turns versus 20 turns. Focus on production, come on. Yeah. Okay. No, we win! We win, finally. Finally, I win for once. And we got another promotion. So we're going to be promoting the archer up quite nicely. 415 city defense. It's pretty strong for that. Did we also kill a lizardman? No. Right there he is. Okay. He's on top of the man and now. So let's try to blockade this little nuisance off. So I have another Morai here. We're going to encircle the lizardman. So now we actually have to walk around if he wants to get back into my territory. Which I think is a good idea. How close are we? Morais are coming in. A lot of barbarians, huh? Well, barbarian bears, which are ridiculously overpowered for being an animal. Look at that. 38% odds I have against it. Okay. So we'll run away. Let's run away. Okay, both stacks have joined. We might be able to take it out. Let's go on lizard hunts. I suppose that Morai will probably get killed now. Let's see what happens here. Nope. The lizard continued on. Of course, they'll be able to outrun me. I think it was a good thing we founded the religion in this city, because that's what gave our city an additional cultural defense bonus. Let's move in here. Undeerage. Stupid bears are on my tail, predictably. One hill giant and 2 warriors yet. I'm confident that we can take them out. I'm going to stay positive on this one, because if I'm not, and we lose at, every single one of them loses at 10% odds, like my best units always seem to, that will be a very sucky start to this entire scenario. No question about it. Finished trade, okay. Did that give us an additional trade route? No. Okay. Octopus Overlords has been founded. So, here we have the Hill Giant. We have a skeleton. The skeleton is expendable. Attack it. 5.2. Wow, that skeleton did a lot of damage. What are the odds now? 87%. Well, I don't want to lose another good unit, so 37%. Okay. Attack with... Come on. Give me the odds. 96%. 67%? Really? Okay. We won that, and there we go. And we're supposed to raise the city. Remember, this is important. It says raise the barbarian city. Last time in the last episode, I captured a city I was supposed to take, and I failed to raise it. So there, they reburn it. And it says the primitive encampment of the hill giants is raised, and the giants themselves feeding the vultures. In one hut dwell, I don't know why I thought that was an R. In one hut dwell a score of human slaves, their eyes lighting up at the sight of the destruction of their captors. One young man in tattered yellow clothes approaches Decius. In the name of Lugus the Light, I thank you, sir. Who is Lugus, your feudal lord? Nay, good sir, he is the god of light, whose wisdom enlightens all people of this desert. Decius yanks the man's chains, pulling him to his knees. Not wise enough to keep you safe, nor alert when you speak to a foe. Florus is pleased to see that Decius has the metal he suspected, less so to hear of the ecclesiastic. I have not seen a priest of Lugus for over 600 years, and now one appears on my borders. This is an ill sign. Decius raises an eyebrow. 600 years? The prelates spoke of devilmen living in the desert of Mur. I hadn't expected they were being quite so literal. I have no allegiance to hell, simply similar tactics extracting power from mortals. I trust this doesn't strain our working arrangements. Decius shrugged. I have little illusions about how you treat your subjects. What you do with their soul is even less my concern. I have passed your test. What is next? The banner were fools to discard such a useful tool as you. Efficient and heartless, but I need guile as well. Lugus is an old foe, and not one to release a grudge. His cult gaining ground here means trouble for us. I need you to strike down these ecclesiastics without drawing us into a confrontation with the desert tribes. I have seen your power. Give me command of a larger force of vampires, and we can be ruling this entire desert. I have shared our secret with you, Decius, but wish it to remain that. If we take ourselves into the battlefield, we will be hunted down by all the nations. Better to stay on the edges of the civilized world. Lugus has other enemies that may aid us. However, without asking questions, let us encourage the Council of Isus among our lands and train men who can strike without revealing their masters. Use them to eliminate the disciples of Lugus, and the power I wield may be yours. Very well, says Decius, we will do this your way, Florus. So that was quite a thing. And the Council of Isus has been founded, I think? No, that's not Council of Isus. So I think we're going to leave it off here. I'm not exactly sure if this means I can't get access to vampires. I suspect I can. It's just they want me to do some roundabout thing. We're now supposed to weaken the Malachim for 75 turns. There are 2 Malachims. There are the Van Gossam and also Kane. Kane I actually have fairly good relations with. So apparently, though, we're going to be using hidden nationality units to harass his economy for 75 turns. So that is an interesting conclusion to our first episode. Obviously, this is going to be continuing on in later episodes. Thank you very much for watching as always, though, and I hope to see you next time.